Welcome to our News 2 special Veterans Voices. I'm Peyton Kennedy. Over the next 30 minutes, we will introduce you to people who have served our nation with distinction and honor. Men and women who answered the call to join the military and protect the freedoms many of us take for granted. We will start here in Tennessee with one of the state's oldest living World War II veterans and one of the few still able to describe what he saw over Normandy. News 2's Maggie Weaver shows us how 103-year-old Captain Jerry Neal is using those memories to teach a new generation about the cost of purpose and service.
Captain Jerry Neal first enlisted in the U.S. Army when he was 21 years old.
The young kids that were doing all this work, they were in their 20s, early 20s.
He had never seen or even heard an airplane before. But after about a year of training, he was flying one, manually, with steel cables. On the morning of June 6, 1944, Captain Neal was woken up at 2 a.m. and given an order.
As he pulled back the curtains over this large map of Europe, we saw what the mission was going to be for that day. And there for the first day, first time, I was going to be a part of overall the invasion of Europe.
At this point, he was a 23-year-old pilot in the U.S. Army Air Corps. He was flying a B-24 loaded with bombs, and from 30,000 feet above, he looked up at the gray sky over the English Channel and looked down at history unfolding. Thousands of battleships, cruisers, and destroyers in the water, the world's largest invasion beginning beneath his wings.
I knew that this mission might be my last one, but I accepted it, you know. I'm already dead, so don't worry about it. So that's the way we survived.
That mindset, he says, was the only way to make peace, focusing on the mission, never the fear.
There were a whole lot of lives provided that gave up young.
Captain Neal told me some men died in his arms, young airmen who never made it home. And on D-Day, he says he came close to joining them. His B-24 ran out of fuel over the English Channel, plummeting toward the water. He bailed out his crew and braced for impact, hitting a rock bar jutting from the sea.
Nothing left of this plane except the cockpit in his wing. So we kicked the windshield out and got on the wing. By this time the sun popped out and we're sitting up there thinking, Lord, why did I survive?
He spent 10 days scouring medical tents looking for his crew and only found one. Even after 81 years, he says he still remembers those people and the devastation that followed.
When I was doing combat mission, nobody knew anything about it. Those concentration camps weren't discovered until after. It was just, if we could do something to shorten the war, that's what we thought.
Now, he says, it's about making sure young people understand that lesson.
Well, I thought, well, maybe I need to tell this story, even though it's not what's living today, but it's illustrative of the problems that everybody has to face.
Inside Father Ryan's military literature class, students say hearing from someone who lived it is something they'll never forget.
A lot of times we learn about these things in books and we read about it, but it's so much more meaningful and so much more real to actually talk with somebody with real life experience.
For a man who once stared down the realities of war, teaching has become his new mission.
And the older I get, the more I understand. At the time, I didn't understand any of it.
Even now, Captain Neal is still serving, helping others remember what he fought to protect and what it took to earn the freedoms we have today.
Without knowing what the history is, the young people don't know where we're going. There's a difference to be made. It's here. It's these kind of people.
And we now head to Texas, where some veterans are receiving help with mental health and housing support. Dylan McKim takes us to New Braunfels, where one veteran is receiving a new home.
I just want to be part of something bigger than myself. And 9/11 had happened a little bit after that. So I really want to do my part also.
Albert Flores had a dream of becoming a Marine, a dream he realized in 2003, serving his country in Iraq and providing for his family. But in 2005, while out on patrol,
just told everyone to look out for some IEDs and As soon as I said that, literally an ID had just blown up right underneath us. Took everything from the windshield forward, was pretty much gone.
Flores's leg was mangled in the explosion. He had to be carried to a nearby home to wait for a medical evac, his mind turning to his family as he awaited rescue. His wife, Elvira, who he met in middle school, and their 6-year-old son were thousands of miles away.
Was my son going to remember me? Is this the last spot? You know, am I not ever going to get to see him again?
It's like every time, like we relive it all over again.
Flores was able to get back home to his family, but their lives were forever changed. Doctors had to amputate his leg above the knee. He learned to walk on a prosthetic, but he still relies on his wheelchair, and life inside his home proved to be another battle, as mundane tasks like taking a shower became dangerous.
My crutch would slip on me or something, I'd miss a wet spot and straight down and try to catch myself and dislocated fingers and stuff.
It would suck because a lot of times I would be like,
should be at work.
I wouldn't work from home. I would be at work and things like that would happen. And
the Flores family, an example of what so many wounded veterans go through back home. That's where Homes for Our Troops comes in. The organization builds custom homes for veterans adapted for their needs.
In essence, what they did for us is sacrifice their freedom and independence because they need assistance on a lot of those just daily mundane things that we all take for granted.
This is the 400th home the organization has built in the past 20 years. This one's in New Braunfels, and it belongs to the Flores family.
Make some food.
An open floor plan wide enough for Albert's wheelchair, a roll-in shower, pull-down shelving in the kitchen, and accessible appliances. And a fully paved path around the home, restoring freedom back to Albert's life and lowering the stress for his family.
More than 93% of our veterans say that the stress level across the entire family has gone down.
I just feel we're more happier now. Like he's more happier also, like he just has that independence back, I guess.
Now, Elvira can go to work without having to worry about her husband at home, and their house has become the go-to place for family gatherings and watching football on the weekend. For Albert, it restored something in him that he fought to protect 2 decades ago.
Last night, you know, I can hold my head up high. I have my independence back.
In New Braunfels, I'm Dylan McKim.
It's been over 8 decades since D-Day, but for one World War II veteran, it seems like yesterday. Hear how he remembers the bombardment of Omaha Beach. For those who fought on the beaches of Normandy, memories of D-Day will never leave them. That includes one veteran who served in the Navy during the war and witnessed the horrors on the French shores. Maria Elena Valores has the story.
5 beaches were part of the D-Day invasion. We're here at Omaha Beach. This is one of the beaches where American troops landed on that day. They stormed the beaches here and went up the hill in an attempt to liberate France.
Just off the coast, battleships were bombarding the shores with heavy artillery. Coxswain Richard Ramsey was stationed on one of those ships that fateful day and witnessed the carnage.
June 6, 1944, 12:30 to 2:30 a.m. 3 planes shot down. Large fires and explosions on the beach. And we could see the gliders and the planes going into Normandy and coming back.
At 101 years old, Richard Dick Ramsey remembers June 6, 1944, like it was yesterday.
We became field artillery for the Army and the paratroopers, and we destroyed 91 tanks, and we chased the German infantry out of there.
Inside his bedroom, memorabilia from his time in the Navy and his proud service aboard the USS Nevada battleship, including the French Legion of Honor.
I was very honored, and they gave me a bottle of French wine, which was like the icing on the cake.
He still has the letter from then General Dwight D. Eisenhower describing the importance of their mission.
Eisenhower had requested some battleships with big guns. So they sent them the 3 oldest battleships in the Navy. The Arkansas, to Texas and to Nevada.
The centenarian left high school after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941. He wanted to do his part, eventually getting a job at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, where he helped build the USS Iowa battleship. In 1943, he enlisted in the Navy and was eventually assigned to the USS Nevada, manning an anti-aircraft gun mount.
I was in charge of the ammunition supply on the third deck.
On June 5th, 1944, the Nevada began crossing the English Channel, headed for Utah Beach, the flagship battle of the Normandy invasion, supporting ground forces.
Commander Charles Yeager, he gave the order to commence firing. The Nevada had the honor of firing the first shot. We fired 51% accuracy, which means we had a hit every other time.
The battleship then made its way to Omaha Beach.
So the whole beach was on fire, and if you've seen Private Ryan, that's exactly how it happened.
Combat was grueling.
And the water was loaded with mines, and if some of the big landing craft got hit, and they had one survivor out of 100 men.
The depths of destruction, unimaginable.
But it breaks your heart. These are the youth of our country. They gave their todays for your tomorrows.
I'm Maria Elena Dolores.
We now head to San Diego, California to meet a family of heroes, a father and his two sons who served in Vietnam at the same time. All three survived the war, but only one son is still alive to share their story. Zara Barker introduces us to the Hill family.
Steve, my big brother, my guy to look up to, loved Terry. We fought beneath the shadow of the sun, no longer boys, not quite men.
At just 18 years old, when Stephen Hill was just barely considered a man, he enlisted.
The Air Force said, no, you know. Then we went over to and we said, we don't want to be in the Navy. So then then we go to the Army, and they were out for lunch. So we go into Marine recruiting, and that's how they promised us that we'd be taken care of.
A Marine, just like his father.
We're 18, 19, 20, 21, we're invincible. Well, we thought we were invincible. November comes up, and they go, well, Hill, your number's up. You really don't have to go to Vietnam. I said, I'll go.
And who else was in Vietnam at that exact same time?
I had gotten permission from the Sergeant Major to go see my dad.
Stephen and his dad Glenn were serving in different areas of Vietnam, but once got to meet up, just the two of them.
That's when this picture was taken.
At the time, Stephen was maintaining helicopter electrical systems, playing a role in making sure others came home alive.
Our nickname was the Ugly Angels, because if we came in for an emergency medevac, someone's wounded, we were an ugly angel coming in. That saved a lot of lives. It robbed us of our youth. It robbed us in such subtle ways.
But just before his dad was sent back to Camp Pendleton after deployment and Stephen was sent out on an operation, the Hill family of heroes overseas gained another member.
And this picture was taken July of 1969.
His younger brother Terry enlisted and shipped off to Vietnam. His dad smiling big in the middle, the first time seeing both of his sons safe.
He goes, what are you guys doing here?
Terry served on a combined action platoon, helping villagers on the front lines and sometimes in hand-to-hand combat.
Out of all of us, he is, I would say he's darn lucky to be alive.
All three of them made it out of the service alive.
They're my heroes. I love them all. I appreciate what they did for our country.
But those who knew them most, like Stephen's wife, says they were never the same.
I think it's a miracle that they all came home, some better than others.
And now Stephen's the only one left to share their story.
No more secrets, no way, no how. But I've got a secret you can't have unless you fought beneath the shadow of the sun, across the sea, around the world.
That's the poem his brother Terry wrote after his service. Stephen says it's better than his own words could explain what they went through.
I think Terry put in words what he put in words what everybody was feeling.
Now without his dad or his brother by his side, Stephen, a proud veteran, carries the strength of the Hill family, now through the family of his own.
For one family, closure has been on hold for 81 years after their veterans' plane crashed into the Pacific Ocean in 1944. Bayan Wang reports from Salt Lake City.
It's a homecoming more than 8 decades in the making. United States Navy Ensign Howard A. Holding lost his life in World War II near Yap Island in the Pacific Ocean when he was just 22 years old. His remains returning home to Salt Lake City for the first time, where he was laid to rest. An honor guard of sailors acted as pallbearers, as Holding's commemoration included full military ceremonial honors 81 years later, his remaining relatives honoring him.
September 6, 1944, his plane was shot down, he was dead.
Memories of the trauma that confronted Howard's mother resurfacing all these years later.
As she heard that news, she fainted. And after she recovered, one of her hands shook like that for the rest of her life.
The flag draped over Holding's casket presented to his niece, Terry Trick. She recalled the mystery surrounding his death, his remains missing at the time.
My grandma always used to say, "We'll never find Howard. He's somewhere down in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, and we will never know, never ever know what happened to him." Well, it's not true, Grandma. We do know what happened to him, and he's here now.
The breakthrough credited to this man.
I feel honored to have played a part in bringing Howard home.
Patrick Ranfranz, the founder of the Missing Aircrew Project, began his search for Holding more than a decade ago.
I began researching all the planes and crews, including Howard's. Over time, I connected with many of the families of the Yap missing, including Howard's.
Ranfranz eventually traced Holding's remains to an American cemetery in the Philippines.
Fate has made it my mission to help find these men.
Countless questions and generations of grief, now some peace for the Holding family, and this message to him.
We hope that you are feeling right now the same peace and joy that we are feeling with this closure 81 years later.
Opening a new business can be stressful, but for one Army veteran of the reserve, she says it was something she had to do. Mary Jane Beleza has her story from Las Vegas.
It was a leap of faith when Sarah Morgan Fox decided to open her restaurant, F & Egg, in Las Vegas.
It wasn't something that I had planned by any means, and so I dropped out of nursing school and I started doing this.
She says work-life balance could be tough at times. Not only was she running a restaurant, but as a U.S. Army medic, she is always on the go.
Until I opened this location, I had not taken a sick day. I had not taken like a leave day since 2018. So the unit that I'm with right now, I do a lot of outside work.
Morgan Fox opened F & Egg in May of 2025. As a new business owner, there was a lot of excitement, but also some worries.
But it was, will they come? Will they see us? Will they want to even try us?
Morgan Fox says word of her business spread throughout her local and veteran community.
It makes me feel very at home, I guess is the word to put it. We're big on supporting first responders, veterans, military, so we do offer a discount for them.
There are over 1,000 military-owned businesses across Nevada, making it ideal to open a business due to our veteran resources and tax benefits. Levi Schultz is the president of Nevada Veterans Caucus, focusing on political advocacy for veterans and their rights. He's also the founder of Nevada Veterans Fund, a nonprofit helping veterans in need.
There's like a whole veterans business outreach office that is extremely instrumental in helping.
Schultz knows the importance of veteran communications.
as he was a U.S. Navy aviation electrician who worked on fighter jets.
Bringing them into the veteran community fold as well, because there's a lot of folks operating in silos, and we're trying to kind of bring people together and coalesce the veteran community so that we can be even stronger.
Morgan Fox says she's thankful the community has welcomed her with open arms.
It's good. The support has been amazing.
And we hope you enjoyed our profile of many of our nation's heroes in our Veterans Voices special. I'm Peyton Kennedy, and from our entire team here at News 2, thank you for your service.